Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we are here for the end of the death of the podcast, Volume 1. As you can expect, if GW can drag things out, we can drag shit out. We're starting here on Volume 1. We're going to talk about our book rankings, which might take up the whole time. We will see.
There's a lot of books.
Yeah, there's a fuck ton of books. It's kind of stupid. And we read them all, which is dumber.
I would not recommend.
No. If you're listening to the podcast and you're like, maybe I should see what books I should read. Don't read any of them.
Zero.
Don't
Zero.
go down the rabbit hole of hell that we have gone through. We're in the warp. Time isn't real, and shit's fucked.
There was an option, I think, somewhere in the middle of us reading where I was like, hey, maybe we can suggest reading like the first three books and then the last books. No. The last books,
Read
the
none.
last books are the worst of the books. Don't do that.
Give me 30 minutes and I can tell you everything that matters.
Yep.
But before we have a blast here, ladies and gentlemen, Gavin, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking from Northbrook Brewing. So, story about this brewing company.
Think
It's not
about Brook and then go north, and then you're there.
kind of. I mean, it is north of me. But we went on a train for whiskey tastings and wine tastings. They do like a train in our town. Um, and we were like, coming back. I was like four whiskeys deep. I look out the window of the train. There's a brewery in this town right here. So we went there afterwards, like can barely even find it online. But I am drinking the the Resolved Mind. It's the Righteous Minds. It's a red ale. It's probably one of my favorite red ales I ever had because I don't know how to say this, but it's not too red. Does that make sense?
This is the perfect amount of red.
What's the taste of red ales? Like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's
I think like normal lagers is malt. I don't know what here, I'll Google it for you. We got nothing but time. We aren't reading books anymore.
we're going to segue. See, what's important about the Warhammer series is that we take at least three books to let you understand.
Caramel.
Yeah, it's not very caramelly.
Caramel and specialty malts push the beer into the redder end of the beer rainbow.
Yeah, maybe it's more or less. I don't know. It's pretty light. So I feel like a lot of caramel in a beer. I don't know. Like I'm not a big fan of Quafon's amber.
I'm
Is that the
thinking, and I don't know how many
does
times I've had it.
does does what's the brewery we go to like all the time? Big
Oaken.
Oakenville. Does that have an amber?
Yeah, they're the Indiana Amber.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not a big fan of that one.
It's all right.
How about you, sir?
I am drinking again from Chili Water Brewing. I don't actually know the name of this beer, but it is a. Oh wait, I do have the name. It is the Philiopolis.
The Philiopolis?
Philiopolis.
Wow.
Apparently, all of their beers are like ripoffs or names of like songs or bands or something.
I've
I
never
don't know.
heard of
Yeah.
Philiopolis.
But it is a chocolate blonde ale. You tried this Super Bowl weekend when you
Oh,
came.
it's bad.
No, you liked it.
Did I?
Yes. You said, wow, that's actually really good. I said, I know. I'm also surprised that it's good. Because I thought I was gonna hate it. And then it like isn't chocolatey really. It's just like a nice tasting blonde ale.
Awesome. I always love a good blonde ale.
Yep. Now, you guys are thinking, where's my merch plug? It's coming right here, right now. You can find first though, you need to go to our Discord. You can find that pinned to our X at the Heresy Lodge. Or it's at Heresy Lodge, not the, just at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at The Heresy Lodge. Merch. I don't know what holiday's next, but god damn it, whatever it is,
You
you should
need-
buy merch for it.
Yeah, I do would say too with the YouTube. This is definitely an episode you probably should watch on YouTube. We're going to do the tier maker so you can try and follow along with the podcast. And you can hear if maybe there's a book that you really want to see how we feel about, you'll hear it in the podcast. But to see the full tier list, probably good looking at YouTube. And we'll probably share the tier list or a snapshot of it at least in the Discord afterwards.
Oh, show. So Gavin, let's spin it up.
All right, let me share my screen here. I don't think I missed any books, but I could be wrong. So here I am. We have S through D. I didn't edit this very much. So we have S through D. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a tier, and then anything on the far left.
Books?
Yep, siege books are in there.
I see one.
Yeah, where are they at here?
Okay, I see two. All right. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
I'll bitch if they're not there. Don't worry.
So we have S through D. Anything on the far left, we're going to rank them as like, okay, they're in this tier, but the further left are the betters, the further right are the worst. So the best one's going to be the far top left, and the worst one's going to be far bottom right. Are you ready?
All right. First, 62 books. D. Wait, how many books are there? Sorry, first 64 books.
How many books are there? Let's find out real quick.
According to the wiki, there's 64, but I don't know if it has. It doesn't look like it has Garo V2 on here.
There are 54 books in the regular Horus Heresy. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books in the siege.
Whew, tough. We read those guys.
So that is 67. 67
all
books. So do we go in chronological order, or would you prefer to deal with this random? I almost kind of want to go like this random order, just that way we're not like following along in our heads, or what do you think?
That's fine. We can go like by tiers, and then we can debate if we think something belongs in that tier or not, and then we can kind of just like play around as we're going.
Okay, so let's start with the first book on this list here, which is 1,000 Suns.
I think it's 1,000 Suns is an A. Really an A plus.
Yeah, I would say very top ranking A. Like might be the best A book. It's like right on the verge of S tier.
Yeah.
And this is the book that put them on the New York Times bestseller list. I would agree with that as we were reading through. I think Fulgrim should have done it first. But 1,000 Suns, I think, right up there.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be a tough one because I don't remember. Age of Darkness.
Let's see if I can find what stories are in that.
I've got all of them except I've got every book except the End of the Death Volume 3 in physical copy right here in the library area. But
why is Control F not working? Oh, it's down there. Age of Darkness. What stories we got? Age of Darkness has Rules of Engagement, Liar's Due, Forgotten Sons. That's a Salamander book. The Last Remembrancer. That was a decent one. Rebirth, The Face of Treachery, Little Horus. I think that was when
he lost
lost his face.
Yeah.
The Iron Within. I think that was the first time with Dantiok.
That makes sense. That was definitely the best of that book.
Savage Weapons.
Oh yeah, that one was really bad. I'm pretty sure Savage Weapons.
That one's ADB.
Oh, then I'm completely wrong about what I think Savage Weapons is.
Let's see.
That's fine. Age of Darkness. What are you thinking? It's got the Dantiok story. It's got the Last Remembrancer.
Oh, hold on. Savage Weapons was a Dark Angels Battle of the Night Lords.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Night Haunter versus the Lion.
Okay.
Um, I mean, D'Antioch is such a bad motherfucker. That was a really good one. I actually liked The Last Remembered Sir, but it was
Mhm.
just an interesting story. I don't remember Rules of Engagement. It's from Graham. I don't remember Liar's Due. Forgotten Sons, that we read it twice, I'm pretty sure, and I don't remember it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the Salamanders in general, they're the Forgotten Sons.
I'm thinking
C?
personally C,
Yeah.
but it's not bad. Just all right. Angel Exterminatus.
B. B
D
minus.
D minus?
Yeah, that's a far right.
I think that's fair, actually. Angel Exterminatus was just way too drawn out, and the ending was just miserable. The first 50% of the book was great.
Yeah, I agree. Then it peaked, and then weird shit happened.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Angels of Caliban.
I liked Angels of Caliban.
This is when the Unremembered Empire falls, right?
Yes.
That is a good one.
Yep, that's when you had like the really cool scene of Sanguinius like flying at the Night Haunter, and he was like, "Holy
Mhm.
fuck, this is
And the
it."
Night Haunter like standing trial and single-handedly talking the Unremembered Empire to death
Yep.
because the lion's an idiot.
Yes.
um,
I'm thinking B.
I think this is a B. This is a B. All right, this is controversial. This one's controversial here. Battle for the Abyss.
I'd put Battle for the Abyss as a B.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think it's a bad book. A lot of people that read it were like, "Oh, this is just superheroes." But I'm like, "Yeah, but so many of these books are."
Yeah.
And even though everyone dies, like I almost prefer that to what happens in the majority of these books.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'd put it B. I'd put it behind Angels of Caliban,
Yeah.
but it's a solid book. It's a good one.
Yep.
All right, Betrayer.
That's an S.
Oof, I agree 100%. Man, what a book.
Just
What
so
a
fucking good.
wing. I mean, honestly, it might be my favorite of the Horus Heresy. It might be my favorite of the entire thing. I don't know.
It's really good. I struggle with Echoes of Eternity because Echoes of Eternity is also really, really good. And I really, really like Path of Heaven.
Yeah. Path to Heaven's an interesting one. I probably wouldn't put it above Betrayer, but I could see Echoes of Eternity up there. I think Scars was really good. We'll get to it. We'll get to
Yep,
those.
yep. This is a good
Oh,
one. Where are we
oh,
gonna rank this one?
Born of Flame. Born of Flame is worse than Angels Exterminatus.
Born of Flames, I will say now, was the worst.
I disagree. I disagree.
Gavin had 3 repeats.
Two.
Are you sure it was only 2?
I think it was two. It was
I think it's
Artifact.
3.
But regardless, I don't think it was the worst. I definitely think it was the second worst. But yeah.
It's a bad one. It's
All right.
real bad.
Burden of Loyalty. What came within Burden of Loyalty?
Burden of Loyalty has.
And real quick, while I was looking that up, to give you some more context on Born of Flame and why it was so bad, this was a Salamander short story book that contained two short stories that already existed in previous books. And they
Yeah.
were not good. Not good. This was probably the first super themed. I don't think we ever had a short story for this like this that was like one Legion specific. And
Yeah.
I don't think it played out very well. I think it was a very poor decision.
Yeah. So Burden of Loyalty had the 13th Wolf, had Into Exile, your favorite, Cybernetica, Ordo Sinister, the Heart of the Pharaohs, Wolf King, the Binary Succession, and
Ugh,
Perpetual.
this was a bad one.
It was a bad one. Cybernetica was really bad.
Yeah, and one of the
Art
things
of the
that kills me.
Pharaohs was the one where we're like, wow, the lion's the dumbest person on the planet. Well,
Yeah, that's when he
the
gets warned
cats.
about the Tyranids, right?
Yeah. I don't. I think the 13th wolf was the weird, like time jumping ones.
Oh gosh, that was so bad.
I don't remember Ordo Sinister.
That's the one where it introduces the Titans that are psychers, and he has the Order Sinister
Oh,
go down to fight in the war under the palace.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember Into Exile.
I don't remember that one either.
Let's see. Into Exile. It's right by ADB. Um, when the traitorous allies of Horus and Cowboy Hall seized Mars, they sent elite. Oh, that's the one with the Oh wait, one such target was a legendary technologist Arkan Land. Was this the one where it
Oh,
was
it's backwards.
yeah, we were like, what the hell?
Ooh, I'm gonna put this one in D.
Yeah,
Probably above Angel Exterminatus. I would disagree with that. I liked half of Angel Exterminatus.
that's fair.
So it's better than Born Aflame for sure. So all right, moving on to another Salamander book. And this is another Salamander book that I think was weak. A pretty weak one. Deathfire.
Yeah, I think I would put this in D above Angel Exterminatus.
Okay, I was thinking C below Age of Darkness. So we're right there.
Yeah, I could see it
I
going in either. I'm trying to think like my problem with Deathfire was it was pointless.
It was kind of
Like they
silly.
went to Terra and were like, wait, we should actually go to Nocturne. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Wait. What if we went to Nocturne? I think what kills me about this book is the Vulcan lives.
Yeah, that one was bad. We also had if you had the audiobook, you had the
The
guy
girl.
try to make a little girl voice, and that will never not live rent free in my head.
Now, the only reason I would put this in C is because of Bethusa Narek. However,
True, Narek was great.
I think Narek's story in this was very weird.
Yeah.
He was like another person.
Yeah, he was like a gray knight kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that one very
Or
much.
sorry, not Aaron, not Grey Knight, very different.
Yeah. So we'll put it in D. We have two back-to-back Raven Guard books. I don't know how we landed that. But we have Corax.
I'd put Corex in B, I think.
I agree. I would put Corax in, it's a short story novel, and I'd put it above Battle for the Abyss.
I agree. Actually, I
Probably,
honestly might put it above Angels of Caliban.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, there were some really cool stories like the Raptors and stuff, and I
Yeah.
liked it a lot.
Deliverance Lost.
I
The
think I'd put Deliverance Lost also at a B.
I'd put it above Corax.
Really, I was gonna say above Battle for the Abyss, which I mean technically that's above Battle for the Abyss, but
The Alpha Legion to this was okay. I just love Corax as a character. Like he
very
is a
good character.
very, very good character, and he's very well written by Gav Thorpe. I'm fine with either one of these. What are you thinking?
I'd put it third for now.
Okay. I think that's interesting that you would rather read the Korak short stories, although like the Raptor short stories and the one where
The thing is though, like yes, they're short stories, but it was chronological, so it felt more like a novel than an
yeah,
anthology.
and him like finding Lehman Russ at the end was kind of badass. Like
Yeah, it
that
was.
was pretty sick. All right. Okay.
The Scent of Angels. What a
Man,
banger, man.
this is I don't know how I feel about this because this was an early on. We talked shit about this book real early on. And
This
after
is a
all
book
the
that gets
things we
boosted by another book.
yes, and I think it gets boosted by the fact that there's a lot of shit in this
Yeah.
series.
Um, I think if we were only saying by itself, I would put it first in the D column.
Yeah.
I think if you pair it with Fallen Angels, bottom of the sea.
I'm gonna say so. I think this is the perspective I'm gonna take it by.
We
If you,
almost need like one more tier of just dog shit.
I know, I kind of wish I would have edited it to just the worst, but we'll see how that plays out. Is there a way I can do that? How does this work? No. Oh, add a row below. Look at that.
All right.
Z, the Z tier. And I'm gonna go ahead and move Born of Flame into
Yeah,
it.
that's right where it belongs.
So, the Sin of Angels. Here's the thing. I look at it from two different perspectives. If we look at it from a book in the Horus Heresy, I do think it belongs in D. If you look at it though from I'm a Dark Angels fan, and here's a Dark Angels book in the Horus Heresy, it's fun to read.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would ever be a Dark Angels fan, but
I like the concept of reading about the Legion before they became the Legion. Like I think that's an interesting story. The problem is with this book is it just kind of has like a bunch of open-ended questions like the whole time,
yeah,
which is just it was annoying at that point. Like, what are these little blue people that appear out of nowhere? Why can Zahariel slow down time and stick his hand in lions and crush their hearts with his bare hands?
yeah.
What are these?
I'm gonna put it bottom of C.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say top of D, bottom C is fine.
Okay.
The Echoes of Eternity.
I think I'm missing a book. Am I? Let me think. What's it called? I am. I'm missing a book. Damn, that's okay. Well, it's actually would be at the end, so we'll get to that at the end.
All right,
Echoes of Eternity.
that's an S.
It's an S, and this is a hot debate. Is it better than Betrayer?
Um, I think so.
I don't think so.
So my argument for being better is there's like a less drawn out battle. And Betrayer, you had the whole thing with fucking Angron underground, digging around,
That was
lost and
funny as shit.
confused.
I love that.
It's just kind of whatever. Um, the best part about Betrayer, honestly, is probably the end of you have Erebus being Erebus.
Mhm.
Um, where at Echoes of Eternity, you have Sanguinius ripping the fucking nails out of Angron's head and killing him,
Mm,
which is pretty fucking sick, dude.
that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm impressed, and I mean, you guys know if you're following the podcast, you know how much we love ADB.
Oh yeah, we gargle those balls.
ADB wrote the Blood Angels so well. I was not anticipating him writing the Blood Angels to the point where like I liked them more in this book than in any other book.
Yeah,
The only reason I would say it's behind Betrayer is because it's a part of the siege, and the siege is a clusterfuck. Like
fair.
it bothers me that he ends the book in closing the Eternity Gate, and that's not picked up.
Oh, trust me, I know. I felt the
But
same way. There's a
I,
reason I kept hitting that when we were reading the end of the death.
I think you're right. If we were to evaluate it as a book, I do think this is better. I think Latara's story too.
Yeah, Latara's
Um,
awesome.
that was fucking crazy. Um, so yeah, I do think that is better than Betrayer. All right, another short story novel here, Eye of Terra.
Let's see. What is in Eye of Terra? I'm pretty sure we did not enjoy this one, if I'm not
Probably not.
mistaken. The Wolf of Ash and Fire. That's Horus and the Emperor attack the Orc planet.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, we have Aurelian, which maybe we did like this one.
Oh, Aurelian
Aurelian.
was pretty sick. That's when he fought. That was when he fought like a fucking bloodthirster, which was weird, but also cool.
No, this one is during the first complete gathering of the traitor Primarchs while the ashes of Dropsite Massacre are still cooling. Lorgar confronts Horus with the forceful possession of Fulgrim. Lorgar also gets into an argument with Magnus where the events of Lorgar's pilgrimage into the Eye of Terror are told.
Yeah, Lorgar pilgrimages to the Eye of Terra and fights a bloodthirster. That's
Oh,
where
yeah, yeah.
he's going.
We have the Long Night with Sevatar.
Oh, fucking hell yeah. Okay.
We have Massacre, which is from the Dropsite Massacre through the Eyes of Talos and First Claw, whoever the fuck those people are.
That sounds awful.
Brotherhood of the Moon, which is White
Fine.
Scars, and
Oh, that's like the whole backstory between Shaban
yeah.
and the
Let's
other.
see. Inheritor is a word bearer, attacks Ultramar with the World Eater at the height of the Shadow
Oh,
Crusade.
that one was very funny. I remember they were trying to summon Lorgar into Ultramar by sacrificing a bunch of people, and like the whole joke's like Lorgar's on the toilet.
Yeah, our favorite, maybe our favorite short story of all times in here.
What is it?
Iron Fire.
I'm so mad that we saw no Iron Fire in the Siege of Terra.
I
That
agree. This was a very missed opportunity.
that would have been, I mean, what a pinnacle of strategy writing. You know, who was that? Graham who wrote that?
I don't think so. Let's see, Iron Fire. Let's see if I can find who wrote it. Iron Fire. I'm typing Warhammer.
Iron Fire comes up as a battle strategy.
Let's see. Rob Sanders.
Mm. You just know Rob Sanders is like writing, like, oh my gosh, why doesn't everyone do this in real life?
We have Vorax, which
Oh,
is
that's the worst
Admech.
one ever. That's the praying mantis robots and
Oh
Mars. It's
God,
like 2 pages.
that was wild. We have the Red Mart with Thiel.
Okay.
Master of the First, which is the as it's Luther.
Yeah, with Swain.
Yeah. You
Um,
have Stratagem, which is also Thiel.
yeah,
Sins of the Father, which is
it's a Blood Angel one.
yep. Sanguinius considers the possible destinies of Ascalon and Amit. That's when they were fighting people.
Yeah, they fought Karn and then they fought
Lucius?
yes, Lucius, that's right.
Herald of Sanguinius
That was dumb as shit. That was
was.
so stupid.
The Eagle's Talent, the Imperial Fist storms a warship in Talon's orbit.
Sure.
Iron Corpses. Amidst the
This is
destruction of Eagle's Talon, Warsmith Corparnus turns the Titans to survive. Oh,
okay.
that's the dude that tricked that one chick in the Titan so he could take it over.
That was a cool story. I
That one
like
was a
that.
good one.
So what I'm hearing is this book had some really banger stories, and the ones that were bad were kind of funny.
Yeah. And there's the final compliance of 6314, where it was that governor
Yeah, that
was
was
like
cool.
deciding what to do. And he's like
Yeah.
kind of decided. He already decided, but he was telling his assistant, like, remember all these things? Like this thing, like I fucked a chick in that outfit. It was awesome.
So like, here's the thing about this book. And I probably feel the way about a lot of these books. I probably feel very neutral, but the bad parts were funny because they were so bad.
You mean praying mantises are badass?
So if we were to evaluate this just on the books, I'd probably put this in high C. I'd read this over Age of Darkness for sure.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I was gonna say.
But
Currently high C with the books that are listed. It'll probably end up being mid by the end.
the memes that came from these stories, man, that's an A tier book right there.
Iron Fire.
Fire.
That one was so fucking bad. Oh shit.
Praying mantises. I just would love to see that editor. Okay, we're gonna put Aurelian in here where he fights a demon, a bloodthirster. and then Iron Fire. Okay, everyone hear me out. Everyone's like, what? Okay, and then Sevatar. Yeah, everyone loves Sevatar. Okay. And then praying mantises. Jeez. All right, Fallen Angels, the
Um,
sequel to Descent of Angels.
yeah, this one was I liked this one. It was split up in two parts. You're basically either in Caliban or you are following the Dark Angels. I think I like this one. I think it's probably be like top of C currently. Like I don't think it's good enough to be. Did I like it more than Battle for the Abyss? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, maybe.
I could see it being
Actually,
there.
actually, no. I don't like it better than Battle for the Abyss. If I had to read a book, it would be Battle for the Abyss over this.
Fair.
I'm gonna
I
put
have
it.
no argument on that.
All right. Is this False Gods or
That one
Galaxy of
is.
Flames? I think it's False God. No,
I'm like looking at the other pictures.
it's False Gods.
False gods, I would probably
No,
put
no. Yes, it is. It is. It's False Gods.
false gods. I'd probably put in. Hmm. I almost said B, but like I'm thinking.
When it comes to the first three books, how would you rank them?
I would probably do. Horse Riding is my least favorite.
Interesting. Galaxy and Flames is my least favorite.
I liked Galaxy and Flames because we had Isfon 3.
Yeah, it was okay though.
Horus Rising, we had nothing. We had murder. Cool.
Uh,
Then you had the random planet where they just killed the centaurs and
Wait a minute.
Erebus stole a dagger.
You have the man who walks beside you.
Oh, right. Cool. Don't give a fuck.
You get Samus and Horus Rising. I mean, a Horus Rising started it, and I think
It did. And I think, like, after I read Horus Rising, I was not excited to continue the storyline. But you convinced me. So I read False Gods, and I actually liked False Gods enough to really want to read Galaxy in Flames.
so. My favorite is False Gods.
Yeah, I think False Gods is my favorite of three.
I would probably do False Gods, Horus Rising, Galaxy and Flames. You do False Gods, Galaxy and Flames, Horus Rising. That's what you're
Yep.
saying. So where would False Gods lie? I think it would probably be an A tier book.
That's where I'm trying to decide. Like, did I enjoy False Gods more than I liked Korax?
I think I did.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I
It's
probably
so long ago.
the story, the what I remember from False Gods more than
False
anything.
Gods is what hooked me. I will say that as like the reason I'd put it in A.
Yeah, and him in the warp with Magnus and Erebus,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I would definitely put this in A. But Fear to Tread. All right.
Sure, it was great.
You think so?
It was great.
Who is Fear to Tread by?
Fear Tread was James Swallow, I think.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yep, James
Don't see
Swallow.
a lot of James Swallow. Yeah, I loved this book. It was funny the concept was funny, and it was written really well. And the Blood Angels were done well. Murder was done well. Sanguinius was done well. The demons were good. I mean, it was a good book all around.
I mean, we were blowing up planets because they were smiling. Like that was some peak shit.
That was fucking great.
That was like, holy fuck, these people were actually using their brain. I like this.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
fucking stop signs started attacking them. Like, nah, this shit's fucked. Like this whole planet exterminatus.
I forgot about the stop sign. Oh my god, these buildings are coming alive. Does that even work, James Swallow? Sanguinius
This is an A.
agitating things upside down like a bat. It was fucking great. Oh, and we get the Red Angel, who, by the way, wasn't used at all in fucking Siege of Terra.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that.
Yeah, what the? That was a cool ass fucking storyline with Miros. That was fucking
Yeah,
sick.
that was a completely wasted opportunity.
More things to complain about.
Yep. I would say this book's an A.
Yep, I would put it above. False Gods. I'd
Agreed.
rather, but below Thousand Suns. I think.
Yep.
All right, this is a siege book here.
Yeah, which one? I'm trying to
First
see.
Wall.
D above Deathfire, probably.
Yep, I think it's probably high D tier. It's one of the weaker of the siege books. It's not the weakest, not at all.
It might even not even be like top. It might even be top five of like books of the
I would,
siege.
I would agree. All right, here we have a good one. Fulgrim.
That's an S.
That's an S tier book. Is it
I don't think it's
better?
as good as Betrayer.
I agree. Right there. That's exact. I'm right there with you. You've got Fulgrim, you've got Echoes of Eternity, you got Betrayer. Boom. Great lineup there. All right, here's an interesting one. We just got done with Fulgrim. Thousand Suns is up there. The siege entry, Fury of Magnus.
Uh this has to be a D, I think. You have some like weird shit happening in this. You have Magnus touching Malcador and like choking him to death and then burning alive and dying, and then the other random perpetual chick comes up and is like, have my life. Fuck my children. Fuck my husband. I don't give a fuck about them.
She's not telling Magnus to fuck her husband. She's saying fuck my husband.
And
Hey.
he played a chess game against Magnus and like almost won.
Yeah, this was a tough one for sure. I would say D, and I would probably say it's not as good as First Wall.
The one thing it has better than First Wall is it's shorter.
First Wall had moments, like I love uh
Yeah,
Florix.
yeah, that moment right there.
Florix was the guy that was just awesome to read about in that book.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Um,
It had some moments. It had some like meme like moments too, like where you have
for Robbo and Dorn.
I'll see you at the next wall.
I'm coming to get you, Dorn, and your little dog too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine there being below first wall.
So Galaxy and Flames. I do think this is a solid B.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it's B.
I would probably put it before Battle for the Abyss,
Yeah.
maybe before Deliverance. What do you think?
I also had the same thought process. Probably in front, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that lines up all right.
We get Isfan 3, and the tough part about this book to me is it was the first introduction to very elongated battles.
Yeah.
Um, and it never plays well. But this one was one of the better ones because there was so much drama, so much going on. You get Lucius, you get Abaddon, and the death of Torgadon. That was pretty
Oh,
crazy.
even the Titan, the Deus Irae was an interesting, like you had the people betraying each other inside. That was cool.
Yeah, too bad that never happened.
Yeah, apparently we don't give a shit about the guy.
Yeah, I would never get to see him again. We get plenty of other Titan people though.
Yep.
All right, here's another siege one. Garo. The
Gara
Garo.
was good. He beat the shit out of Mortarion.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I liked Garo.
I I don't know if it's B worthy. I would put it at least C, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. At least C, I would agree. I would say if it's hard to evaluate it as a book, um, but as a short story, I think if I had to read it, if I had to read Garo or Terra first, I'd probably read Garo
I agree.
and then Garo.
So I liked this Gara better than you liked it.
No, this isn't Eisenstein. This is the short
I
story.
know. I don't know, I know. But you were not about Gara at this time.
You were a Grey Knight fanboy at the moment, so
Yeah. This is the one that you had to read before Vengeful Spirit, so you could understand why Loken was alive.
yeah, it was very out of place in the ordering of the books for sure.
Yeah. I would even though I liked it, I think it probably still belongs in C tier.
And
Probably above Descent of Angels. This is where
yeah,
I
fair
put it.
enough. I think that's fair. Horus Rising.
I think Horus Rising is a B book. I'd put it after Battle for the Abyss, though.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so Heralds of the Siege.
This is the one that has my favorite short story.
Really?
That
Oh,
was
is
the
this?
one where they set up the Siege of Terra in the perfect fucking way.
And then they wrote two other books.
Yeah, and then they just fucked up everything else. What else was in it? I think we actually really like this one. Um, I have to fucking find it because this damn wiki has nothing. Heralds of the Siege. All right, add a bunch. Add Myriad, the Grey Raven, Valerius, the Amber Wolves, Black Shield, Children of Sikaris, Exocytosis,
Yeah.
the Painted Count, which
Oh,
that was
Strybok.
yeah, Scarvok. The Last Son of Prospero, the Soul Severed, Dark Compliance, Duty Waits, Magisterium, Now Appeals Midnight, which is my favorite one. Dreams of Unity, and the board is set.
I don't like it.
I think we liked it when
There's a
we read
lot of
it.
those I don't like.
Fair. I think it was definitely held up a lot by Now Appeals Midnight. I
But then
think
the Gray Raven, that was a tough one. That's where the dude goes to Mars and has an electric arm and meets the friendly robot from Big Hero 6.
no, hold on. The Grey Raven. Basar Kutheri of the Raven Guard has always followed his Primarch's orders. When the Edict of Dacia forbade Psychers within the legions, he returned to the Lion Squads without a second thought. When the War Master's treachery became known, he gave freely of his powers. Now, as the war appears to be entering its final grim stages, at Lord Corax's command, he must return to Terra to face judgment for his apparent crime of unswerving loyalty.
Oh, okay, that's not the one I remember then. I don't
Uh,
know. Where do you want to put this one? I kind of don't. All these short stories, I just don't know. It's like
there's
whatever.
a bunch here, so it's hard to remember them all. I mean, now the fact that I remember Now Pills to Midnight, like name and everything, says a lot about it. How much does that carry a book? Um,
It's a big book. It was like 10 pages.
it's 432 pages,
I know, but that story was 10 pages.
and it was so good. Um, I don't know. Bottom of the sea, maybe.
I'm fine with that. All right. No fear. One of Dan's better books.
I think it's an A.
I think it's an A too. I'd rather read No Fear than Galaxy in Flames, I think. Or
Yeah, I
False
would probably
Gods.
put it above Fear to Tread.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's a very well written book.
Yeah.
Legacies of Betrayal.
Was that one the short story?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty sure this one's bad, but let me double
No.
check. What stories do we got for Legacies of Betrayal? We got okay. We have Brotherhood of the Storm. We have the Serpent, Hunter's Moon, Veritas Ferum, Riven, Strike and Fade, Honor to the Dead, Butcher's Nails, War Master, Kryptos, Wolf's Claw, Thief of Revelations, the
I'm gonna
Divine
put it.
Word, Lucius the Eternal Blade, the Eightfold Path, Guardian of Order, Heart of the Conqueror, Censure, and Lone Wolf.
I'm gonna put it in D tier.
You think it's a D?
For definitely don't want to read a short story novel again because I all those names sound familiar, but I don't remember what any of them are about. to a degree that
Um,
was useful. So they were probably some that were bad.
I mean, you should remember Brotherhood of the Storm. That was with Shaban and Torgon.
I thought Brotherhood of the Moon was.
That's the other story. There's two of them. You have the Brotherhood of the Storm, Brotherhood of the Moon. Follows both of them.
I hate it.
You have the Serpent, which is the Davenite priest.
Hated it.
Hunter's Moon is a small pack of space wolves assigned to Malkador to guard Alfarius or to slay him if he proved false.
I hated that.
Veritas Ferrum is the Damnation of Pythos, in which the Ferrum arrives at Isfahan while the battle is raging and then
Got a prequel to Damnation.
retreats.
I thought.
Riven is an Iron Hand Crusader host that we don't give a shit about. Striking Fade is Salamanders on his Fun 5.
Sounds terrible.
Honor the Dead is Titan Warfare on Cal. I'm sure we love that. Butcher's Nails is Angron and Lorgar's actions immediately prior to the launching of the Shadow Crusade, notably an Eldar assassination.
Yeah,
Force
they just killed
attempts
Eldar. Yeah.
to kill Angron before he can become a Demon Prince of Corn. War Master is a soliloquy given by Horus to the skull of Ferrus Manus. Kryptos is Shuriken
Yep.
and Wayland.
That was
Wolf's
dumb.
Claws Bjorn. Yeah, this is probably a D.
All right, Legion.
Legion was good. Legion's an A.
I think Legion is an A. Where does it fall in the A though? We've got no fear. We've got fear to tread. It's somewhere in that realm.
Probably above Fear to Tread.
I think I'd put a Legion above no fear. I'd
I
rather
think
read
I
Legion.
agree.
Yeah, Legion was a great book. It's just a whole different way of writing in the Warhammer universe with the spying and the stealth.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's written really well. We get introduced to John Grammaticus. It's unfortunate what happens to him.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. All right, we got a great one here. Lost in the Damned.
Lost in the Damned. I'm between S and A.
Mm-hmm. My vote would be S. I would read it above Thousand Suns, I believe.
See, I was trying to decide if I had it at the top of A or
Yeah,
if I
I
put
think
it in
top of A
S.
would be good. I think that's a good spot for it. I don't think I'd call it S tier. There's some amazing shit. Oh, actually, I gotta do S. The speech from the con
It is really
almost
good.
made me cry.
I'm fine with that.
All of these books right here, I had to put down in scenes.
Yeah.
And The Lost and the Damned having that moment where Karn battles Angron and the Khan gives a speech about not abandoning humanity. And oh no, it's fucking great.
It was good.
Yeah. Mark Calth, on the other hand, it's
Z,
gonna
that
go
shit next.
all the way down there.
Jesus Christ. If you could beat a dead horse, that book is for you.
Uh Mechanicum.
B.
Yeah, I hated Mechanicum. I think it's one of the worst books in the Siege or
I liked
the
it more than you did, but it's not great. I'd rather,
better.
I finished Mechanicum. I didn't finish Angel Exterminatus, is all I gotta
All
say.
right. I'd rather read Deathfire than Mechanicum. I really would.
I don't know, man. Deathfire is like 100 more pages.
All right, here we go. Mortis.
That's a D?
I'd put it in Z.
I'm
So
fine with Z. I'm trying to decide, like,
this book was huge
it
for
was
no
huge. It
reason.
wasn't
It
great.
accomplished literally nothing. I don't know if it accomplished anything.
I think I would rather read Mark of Calth over because Mark of Calth is shorter.
Sure, I'm down.
Only reason. It's not because I enjoyed the book, but I know I can get through it quicker.
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
I almost forget about Nemesis.
So Nemesis had a really cool start, and then it hit a wall, and it hit a wall hard. I would say
Really.
it's a D. I don't think it's like the worst.
It
It ain't
had
great. I would probably put the bottom of D.
Bottom of D. I mean, it had a.
The first half
How
is
about
really
this?
good. It's kind of
Right there.
like the Angel Exterminatus
But
problem,
you
right? Like,
finished Nemesis.
I did finish Nemesis. That is fair.
Here's the one Salamander book that I thought was fucking great.
I would put Old Earth as an A.
I would put it as an A as well. I would definitely read Old Earth above um False Gods.
I might pick Old Earth over No Fear.
It's a journey, and you get to see like the coolest part in Old Earth is when they killed off what's his face? Tilbert Mar beheaded the Iron Hand,
Yeah.
Shadrach Medusan.
Yep.
That was fucking sick.
It was really cool. It was a really good book.
Pharaohs.
Uh Pharaohs.
Very middling book, in my opinion.
Yeah. C.
You get Night Lords, which is cool, but you don't get the cool Night Lords.
C above Fallen Angels. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like middle of the road you can possibly get book, honestly.
Yeah.
Praetorian Adorn.
I think that's an A.
If Trainwreck was still here, I think it's his favorite book. I think it's an A too. I think I would read it above Fear to Tread. Um, I think I'd put it right there. I'd probably read it above No Fear as well.
Yeah, that works for me.
I'm gonna move this further on. Prospero Burns.
C.
Say C.
Yeah.
I think it's a good C book. I would actually put it low B
Sure.
because it's the same story of Thousand Sons. I loved Casper, Hauser Casper.
Yeah.
Um
Casper Hauser.
Casper Hauser. I'm doing the last first thing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with it really is it was a story that was already told.
Yeah.
And I like how they did the different perspectives. It's just the Thousand Sons was done so well. And I don't think Dan was able to come up to that level. So yeah, I'd put it in C actually. No, I don't I think about it. Saturnine.
Probably name.
An A. Saturnine. Really? What about Saturnine did you really enjoy?
I liked the end of the Mournival. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is a B.
I'd put it in the B tier. I'd put it above Corax because it is a well-written book, but it's not a lot actually happens in Saturnine. You get the part where Cinderman becomes a um remembrancer for some reason. He reestablishes the remembrancer order. You get the loss of the Eternity spaceport, but there's not really any shock surprises. You get like the fake story of all Elanius Pearson. This is when Sisters of Silence were invisible.
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, it is a very overrated book.
I agree. Like there was a lot of this book. The battle under Saturnine Wall was cool, but that Fulgrim also just flew off permanently at the
Yeah,
end of this book for no
that's fair.
reason. I would say this is B, and I'd put it almost mid B.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Like I'd read it over Battle for the Abyss, but I think it was pretty overrated.
I agree.
Oh, here it is. Ruin Storm.
That's that one. That's
It's an S plus.
it. It gave us some memes.
It gave us so many memes, but it was such a bad book.
Yeah, that bitch is a Z.
That's a Z tier. I'd rather read it over Mortis because it's
Short.
small.
Yep.
It's actually one of the shortest books in the entire series, but it's rough.
It is rough.
Scars.
I would probably put Scars in A above 1,000 Suns.
Um, I'd put it behind Thousand Sons.
That's fine.
I think Scars is great, but Thousand Sons to me is such a step up. It's the gatekeeper, in my opinion, of A books because the journey that it takes you on is very in depth. And Scars did the same thing. I think of Ahriman, you think of the human aspect of it. You get that in Scars, but it also plays pretty hard on Magnus's tragedy, and I don't feel the same from Jack Tide in Scars. In other books, I think it comes out. Shadows of Treachery. This was the Imperial Fist book.
This one was good.
Yeah, it was all right. I think it's a B book.
Yeah, I
One
was
of the
thinking
better.
B.
Probably behind Horus Rising.
No thanks.
Shattered
That's a
Legions.
Z.
That'd be a Z tier, but I'd rather read it over Mark of Cal because those are two dead horses that were beaten, and one was beaten a lot worse, I think.
Yeah, at least Shattered Legions had Shadrach.
Yes, that's true. Shadrach was a cool one. Slaves to Darkness.
That was good. That's probably, yeah.
I'd put it high B.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing crazy because it is still a short story novel. But it had some really cool moments.
I don't think that one's a short story one.
Oh, you're right. That's the one where he tries to get Fulgrim to kill Horus.
Yeah.
I don't like moments where it's like, who the fuck is Laylac? And they're trying to introduce new characters.
Yep, agreed.
Solar War.
D. Below First Wall. Below Fury Magnus. Yeah. I'd put Solar War above Mechanicum probably. Probably above Deathfire.
Anytime a book has Samus in it, I just want to like really drop it.
I understand.
Here's one that's interesting. Sons of Selenar. I really like Sons of Selenar.
Yeah, that one was good. It was one of the better ones.
I think it was better. Like I'd rather read that than First Wall. I'd almost put it in a B tier. B or C. Was it better or worse than Garo? I actually enjoyed this more than I like Garo in the Siege.
I'd probably go the opposite way. I'd probably say Gara was more entertaining.
You just love Garo. And I love Shuriken. I think Shuriken's story is cool. I like seeing the salamander die first for some reason, like they do in every story.
That's fair.
I'll put it behind Garo though. I think that's a good spot for it.
That's
Like
fine. Yeah.
those two short stories there. Tales of Heresy. This is I remember this one quite a bit. This was the one with the last church.
Yes. Yep. I mean, the last church is top notch shit.
Yeah. Where are we putting it?
Uh, I would say,
Let's look. It's better than Shadows of Treachery, in my opinion.
yeah, I think there's fine. It's still an anthology. Like, I don't think any anthology is good enough to be an A.
Yeah, I don't think we have any in A. Talorn.
Although Talon was really good. It
Talorn is an anthology, isn't it?
is.
Yeah, it's got like one really long story and then a few shorter ones.
Yeah. I'd probably put Talon right after Corax.
Yeah, I think that's a really
The
good
B
spot
tier.
for it. I love Talorn. I love Port Rabo. I loved Argonis. I love the whole story. The opening was phenomenal. It was almost like watching a movie. Um, and I'd rather read that over anything that was happening in the Unremembered Empire for the most part. Um, so yeah, I think that's going. Crimson King. Ugh, this was rough.
Probably D.
I'd put it in D. And I'd put it, is Crimson King better or worse than Angel Exterminatus? Because personally, I think Crimson King is worse than Angel Exterminatus. It
That's
got
fact.
into an acid trip. It did the same thing that Angel Exterminatus did. Graham kept falling into the same trap. You
Yeah.
get to the end, and it gets so ridiculous and descriptive material that it's like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Magnus
Yeah.
is now a massive giant, but he's in three places at once while he's inside of you. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. It's a weird one. It's not great.
All right. This is a sneak up on you here. Damnation of Pythos.
I'd put Damnation by this as a C. Above I have Terra.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's a good book.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
It's a solid one. Like, I probably wouldn't pick it up and read it again, but I enjoyed it
Yeah.
for the most part. I didn't like the ending very much. I think it kind of equated to nothing.
Yeah, and it got weird.
Yeah, it got real weird. But it was solid. I liked the about 75% of the book was really good. And I remember when we were doing the review, I was like, here's how it could have ended and made it a lot better. And they just didn't do that. They just went with like, ah, fuck it, kill everyone.
Yeah. I mean, actually, and then he turned to Hell Rider or
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
And we got Ruinstorm out of it. So I guess it is what it is. The Buried Dagger.
Buried Dagger. That man, this was like a book that was kind of hyped up to us, which I did not think lived up to the hype.
I
Um,
agree.
I would probably put it D. Uh, Probably first of D right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for it. I mean, the problem with the Buried Dagger was the part about Mortarion on, where's he from?
Uh, Fuck.
Hmm, why am I blanking here?
I'm also blanking really hard for no reason.
It's a planet with a lot of smoke and fog, and
Yeah, it sucks. It's
one of the
poison.
most famous ones, too. Anyway, the problem with it, anytime it talked
The
about him on,
line blew it up. It doesn't matter.
yeah, it's gone. Barbarous.
Hmm.
Anytime it talked about Mortarion on Barbarous, that was the best part of the story, but it's also the part you cared the least about.
Yeah.
And then when it got to him in space and current time, he's just so stupid. He's just very dumb. So he just kind of has typhus run all over the ship and do whatever he wants. So like it's a little rough. All right, we're approaching an interesting gauntlet here. The first heretic. Hmm.
First Star takes an S.
I think it's an S tier book. And I always debate whether or not I think First Heretic is better than Betrayer.
Yeah, I definitely have it above Fulgrim.
Yep. It's a little it's really
Personally, I
weird.
think I like Betrayer more, but I can see the argument either way.
I mean, I'm fine with it. We'll throw it behind Betrayer. They're both just neck and neck phenomenal. And here's one that splits us too with Master of Mankind.
Yeah, I would put Master of Mankind A,
Okay, I'm okay.
probably after Legion.
Okay. I personally thought Master of Mankind was one of the better books in the Siege. But looking at what we have laid out here, I totally see what you're saying. I'm gonna put it above Legion though, and I'll put it after Scars to be respectful to your White Scar love. But I would much rather. The reason I love Master of Mankind is because you got the Emperor's perspective, and you still hated him, and
Yeah,
I think that was really really hard for ADB to do. Um, I just think he did it well. Another one that divides us, Fly the Eisenstein.
I think personally, I'd put Flight of Eisenstein and B above Battle for the Abyss. Now, I know you didn't like it, so I'm curious to see where you would say it was.
Gosh, I let me think. I would put Flight of the Eisenstein in C, probably somewhere around Garo, the end of C.
All right. Let's
I
do the middle of that then.
okay, so You were gonna
between
go here.
Selenar and Garo, version 2.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I really struggled with that book because by the time we got to that, we were repeating the same story for the third time because we had
Yeah.
Fulgrim in between that and
Oh
Galaxy.
boy, we got a banger next.
Oh boy, Grant McNeil's disgusting love child with Magnus and his all the
Yeah.
stories that Grant McNeil wrote. Graham and Dan always did the same thing. Where like they write stories and then they screw them up later. Like they forget about the stuff that they wrote.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, this is a Z tier for sure.
Yeah, I would probably. Yeah, I mean, I would probably put it above all those other ones just because it's shorter.
Yeah.
Literally the only reason.
I mean, Runestorm is the shortest, but this
Runestorm
had a
short.
story
It's bad.
and it had at least the character I really enjoyed this was the Thousand Sun character. But when you have like two unarmed world eaters killing a custodian, like that blew my mind.
Yeah.
All right, here's one of your favorites, The Path to
Path of
Heaven.
Heaven. Yeah, I would. It's an S for me,
I,
definitely.
I agree, absolutely. And I would put it
I
above Fulgrim, and I'm right in that 4 tier region there. I'm gonna really struggle to say Path to Heaven is the best book in the entire series.
I'm trying to think if I liked it more than Echoes of Eternity. What we had in it, we had Yasugi's sacrifice on the second throne. Um, you have the fight with the Khan and Mortarion version 1, right? What happened in that book? No,
Um,
no, that was the End of Scars.
yeah.
This is the one where
Yeah, Yasugi dies.
yeah,
And
Yasugi dies, but the other White Scar, I can't think of his name, sacrificed himself
one
so
more
that the
Mortarion.
rest could escape.
Yeah. Or two Mortarion, yeah.
Yeah.
I I'm really gonna struggle to leave Path to Heaven on top of the tier list, but I will put it above Betrayer.
All right. I found it.
That means I'm looking at the books that are left, but that means that we're saying that the best book in the entire series is Echoes of Eternity.
I think that's okay.
I think that's fine too. I'm okay with it. I'm looking at the books that are left, and I think that this is our S tier. Um, and I would
Yeah.
agree with that. I think these 6 books I would reread. I would reread all 6 of these books.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's crazy to think that 2 of them are in the Siege. But we'll talk a little bit after we finish up here. The Primarchs. This is a real weird book.
Probably D above Buried Dagger.
Above,
Maybe. What all is in that one?
that's where Fulgrim gets the butt plug. We get the story with
That's an
Ferris,
A plus
Manus,
plus.
and Vulcan. We get Lion finding the Cabal or Caban or whatever it's called. The thing that lets him teleport that he never uses.
Oh yeah. Um oh yeah, Manus in here. Don't care about.
Yeah, that's where he kept killing his human soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah, Alpharius and Omegon involved in a unique counterintelligence operation that extends the Legion's customary deception inwards. But
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it right here for
yeah, it works.
the Silent War. We've got one,
You hated that one.
two.
That was with the Rosetta Stone.
I hated that one so much.
I I
They
mean it
never
wasn't
used
great.
the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah. It's probably a D.
I'm gonna put it above Deathfire.
Yeah, that's fine. Deathfire is bad.
The Unremembered Empire.
That's probably an A, right?
I'd say
Maybe B.
low A, high B.
Yeah.
Is it better than Slaves to Darkness? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you get Comrade Kurz in here.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking around. He kicks the shit out of the lion and Gilliman. That was a lot of fun.
That was
Vulcan's
awesome.
running around naked.
We have
I'd give it an
Narak.
A here. With Narek, I'd probably read it over. I wouldn't read it over Fear to Tread, but I'd read it over
Yeah, I agree with
Mustangs.
that. Titan
Titan.
Death. Oh, that's a D.
Yes, it's not a Z. I will defend Titan Death enough to where John French wrote stuff in Titan Death that wasn't Titan Battles, and it made it okay. But it is a very low D, and I'm gonna put it right next to Burden of Loyalty. Not right there. No, not Burden of
Yeah.
Loyalty. Yeah.
That's yeah. I agree.
It's the concept. Look at this. You can see it right at the bottom. Titan cover, Titan cover, Titan cover right there. Stop writing books about Titans. Vengeful Spirit.
I also would say D.
Oh my gosh, this was a tough book. It was rough on so many levels. I'd rather read Deathfire, but Mechanicum would be rough. Nemesis would be rough. I think this is a good.
Mechanicum's at least shorter.
Yeah, and like I finished Vengeful Spirit. There's so many like political issues with this book about where it's at, all the things that tie into it, all the shit that happens in this book. It's a tough
Yeah.
one. My second favorite Salamander's book, Vulcan Lives. This is a pretty good
I
book in
put
my
Vulcan Lives in a B. Probably like high B.
high B. Yeah, I would read Vulcan Lives over Corax.
That's fine. I was gonna say either behind Talon or in front of it, but I'm fine with above 4X.
because the torturing scenes you get from Conrad Kurz, and you do get John Grammaticus in this, even though his story is a little weird. But this was Vulcan's introduction. It got me very excited about Vulcan. The scene where he goes, "It's also a hammer." Ah, just fucking
Yeah.
love that
And
scene.
then he flies through space, and we know that he was supposed to give the hammer to Horus.
All right, Wolfsbane.
Not great. That's a D. Um,
That's a D. I agree.
Probably above Silent War.
Yeah. Would you
Maybe
read?
above Primarchs.
Would you read Solar War before Wolfsbane?
Probably not. At least Wolfsbane, we had some like kinky space wolves and
Yeah,
leather.
I think it's a good spot for it. War Without End. All right, throw it out. What's in War Without End?
War Without End has, hold on. It was a really big one. I have the hard copy of it, and it's fucking huge. The Divine Aurora Trice, Howl of the Hearthworld, Lord of the Red Sands, Artifacts, first time.
Gosh, it wasn't even.
Hands of the Emperor, The Phoenician, Sermon of Exodus, The Lion's Command, The Harrowing, All That Remains, Gunsight, Allegiance, Demonology, Black Oculus, Virtues of the Suns, The Laurel of Defiance, A Safe and Shadowed Place, Imperfect, Cherrigan, Twisted, and Wolf Mother. A lot
I'm
of
gonna
a lot of stories.
say D,
Yeah, a D works for me.
and I'm gonna put it right above the Titan one.
That's fine with me.
All right,
The
here
End
it
of
is,
the Depth,
Dylan.
volumes 1 through 3.
Volumes 1 through 3. I've got my vote. I think
I
this
would
is the
put
worst book in the entire series, hands down. I would so much rather read Born of Flame, but by
oh,
a lot.
the other ones are shorter too.
This was such a disappointing ending. And we just talked as we were going through these books. Oh, this was cool in the book. Too bad they never used it. Oh, this is cool in the book. Too bad they never used it. And I'm not saying all of that lies on Dan, but if you're going to convert one book into the three biggest ones that have been in the Horus Heresy, try to wrap some things up.
Yeah, I agree.
Are we
It's
doing it?
bad. I think it's fine being the last. I mean, it disappointed on pretty much all ends. Drawn out, long as fuck. Especially if you're combining all three. Like, even if I say we separated out all three, I would probably put all three in D. I don't think.
Oh, I would put number 2 in Z. I may
That's
even
fair.
put number 3 in Z. Number 1 was a little better, but number 2 is so drawn out. That's when time and space started to not exist.
Yeah, I mean, like in number one, you had well, you had nothing of importance. They went to the vengeful spirit in the first half of the book, and then they got dragged out for another 2.5. Yeah,
Maybe
I think it belongs there. I think it's bad. It's unfortunate, but it's
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I don't care how unfortunate people think it is. It's just the truth. You're gonna tell me you're gonna give me almost what was it? Almost 2,000 pages?
more.
More than 2,000 pages of a
Maybe not. It's probably like 23, 2400.
of story that is mostly fluff
Yeah.
in where you ended, do what happened, like and like Dan's written some good books. He's got 2 books in the A tier.
Yeah.
This was just not a good way to end it. And you know what? It
And
probably has a
BB has
lot.
three.
Yeah, and I don't want to like harp on it too much, but we just don't like how much to the T things were followed. And I think if we there was a little more expanse there, and maybe that was Dan's fault, maybe it wasn't, but just wasn't our cup of tea.
Yeah.
We are missing one book. You know which one we're missing? It's from the Siege.
No, which one? Hold on. Let me look at the names.
Missing. Yeah, I can tell you.
Hold on. Warhawk. We're missing Warhawk. The
Missing
Warhawk.
Warhawk. I think Warhawk is another S tier book.
I agree.
Which one is better to
I
you?
would put Warhawk above Fulgrim.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So here's Warhawk is up there. So we've got 7 books in the S tier. And guys, keep this in mind. Not every book needs to be an S tier book, but 67 novels, and only 7 of them where we're like, damn, this was a great book. That's tough. 7 of them were Z tiers, an equal amount of
Yeah.
books. We were like, I just want to throw this away. And then look how middling the rest of these are. Look how much is in the C tier or D tier and the
There's
C tier.
17 in D.
Yeah,
And that, I mean that's a lot.
it is a lot. I would agree. And then you look at like B and C. I mean, there really weren't a lot of books that blew my mind. Anything below the A line, I'm like, I probably would never even consider reading again. Um,
Yeah.
and even parts of the A line. It really, I mean, most of the books in A and S are like, okay,
Let's be
these were.
real. We're never gonna reread any of these.
Oh, I agree. I agree. But like, I'm talking just enjoyment. Maybe some books in B. But yeah, this was a.
Yeah.
If we look at the Siege too, one thing that's interesting, we have 3 books in the S tier from the Siege, which is great. That's phenomenal.
We have two in the S tier from the siege.
3. We're missing Warcock.
Oh yeah. Sorry. God
Um,
damn it. I need pictures.
where are the rest of the Siege books? Not in A, not in B.
Bad.
There's no books for or Saturnine's in B. One B tier book. The C tier books from the Siege are short stories, Sons of Selenar and Garo.
Yeah.
D tier, that we go all the way to D and we get another short story. We get the first wall, and then it starts laying on Solar War. Mortis is in Z tier. Um, and then the last one
The
is
last three, really.
yeah,
Yeah, actually there's more in the C tier than the S tier.
yeah. No, there's 2 in the Z tier, 2 in the 3 in the S tier, 3 in the Z tier. 3 in the S tier, 2 in the Z tier. Mortis, and the end of the death. Well, I guess technically,
Yeah,
if you
volume
click
one,
End
two,
of the Death
three.
out. Yeah. So I mean, by actual released books, there is more in the Z tier.
Yeah.
There is in the S tier. So it's just so crazy that the siege was just so up and down. There really wasn't a lot that was like, okay, it's super enjoyable. The only book that we were on the line about was Saturnine, and that was like kind of a middling book. And the rest was like knocked it out of the park, or man, this was a fucking rough book to read. So
Yeah. That's it, guys. That is all, what was it, 67?
67 books,
All
66
67.
plus Warcock.
We did that. I don't even know like what else to say. Like, oof. Maybe only read the yes books. Even then, I don't know if that's worth it for you.
Maybe not get into it. Yeah. So there's our rankings on the books. Next week we'll probably be revisiting our Legion rankings, and we'll talk more big picture on the Horus Heresy, where we ended up, what we wish could have gone better, what went well, and we're gonna just draw it out.
Yeah, and what volume 3 is the future of the pod.
Future of the podcast. Maybe we talk a little bit about the um, TV show, what we're expecting out of that, what we
Yeah.
hope will happen. Should be a good time. And anything that you guys want to see from these next 2 episodes, just hit us up, let us know, try to
Yep.
include.
Fine. You can let us know by checking us out on Discord. You find that pinned to our X at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at the Heresy Lodge. Some holiday was coming up and you need merch to represent it. Find that in the show notes. As always, guys, have a good one.